Hey guys! Welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books,
amongst other things.
And today we being a little shady.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We're going to talk about some books that we, forgot that we read.
Mm-hmm.
These books didn't leave a lasting impression for whatever reason, or maybe they were good for us at the time, and we just literally cannot recall some things about the books. There's many reasons why we don't remember, but we just don't. We just don't. So, yeah, let's get into it. Okay.
You go first. I thought you got more than me, so.
I mean,
Kristen don't remember her books, y'all.
I don't remember my books, and then you can say a sentence or you can say something out of that book, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, you got to tell me what it's about. I'm like, oh yeah, I did read it.
So I'll get to one where she has a new book coming out, and I looked at the author's name and I was like, I've seen that name before, but I could not remember the book. And then I looked and I was like, oh yeah, I read that. And that's Lakewood by Megan Giddings. So she does have another book coming out, like I said, but I don't even know what the name of that book is. But Lakewood was one that I saw everywhere. It was kind of like touching on that, how Black people are experimented on, have been experimented on throughout the years. And it follows this young lady as she goes through that process of signing up for these experimental ice creamy, signing up for these experiments or whatever, and taking these experimental drugs. I have no idea. I don't even remember what happened now that I'm thinking about it, but I do. I know. I don't know. But that was one that it was kind of odd. The plot, from what I recall, the plot was kind of odd. You really didn't understand where the story was going. You really didn't understand the progression. And part of it was just kind of trying to communicate that disassociated state, I guess, the main character was in. But as a reader, it's not like you got any background or any additional context. So it just didn't leave a lasting impression. And now it's difficult and challenging to even recall what the book was about, what the point of the story was. So yeah. That's one I forgot I read. Lakewood.
Okay, one that I forgot I read was Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. And as we were making our list, Kristen had to remind me about what it was about. And I was like, oh! But it's basically about a man who was holding his wife hostage. They seemed like the perfect couple or whatever, but he was holding his wife hostage so that he can get access to her sister who had a disability, and it just wasn't... he's just not a good person. And yeah. And I remember that when she said what it was about, I'm like, oh, I do remember that. But looking at the cover and the name, I'm like, when I read that? But I know I read it because I had listed it. So yeah, wasn't very memorable. It was good though at the time. I think it was cool. But yeah,
I enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah,
because I was like, Asia, you need to read this. I think what happened was we weren't reading a lot of suspense at the time, and so that was
what it was needed at the time, I think. But yeah, don't remember that.
Okay, so for me, I literally read this earlier this year, I think, or in the last. I don't even know when I read it. So that's Ties That Tether by Jane Ikaro.
We just read that.
I don't remember.
What is it about? I don't remember either.
Oh,
I
was just looking and scrolling on my Goodreads, and I was
I
like,
can
"What's
imagine
this one?"
the cover to it right now. What it's about, I don't remember, but I do know because the girl with the glasses.
It was a girl. Her mama wanted her to date an African man. It's coming to me. Yeah. And she fell in love or got with this Italian man. Okay. Yeah. It still leave a lasting impression. Yeah. So it was one of those where it was a cute little sappy little romance. We're just, as you probably seen from our wrap up, we're just really getting into romance this year, even though we've probably read some romance books before. So this was one that I was just like, oh, it's a cute little romance, and literally forgot about it. And so it's funny that I didn't even remember when I read it, because that's kind of indicative of the lingering effect. It wasn't a bad story. It was kind of an atypical story. You've read something like it before. It wasn't really something that stood out to you, besides the fact that maybe you could see, as a Black woman, could see yourself in some of the characters. But other than that, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right, so
and no offense to none of these folks.
Yeah, no, it's
all in good fun.
Sometimes, and I have a bad memory anyway. That I've realized, like in the last couple of years, my memory has like slowly dwindled. But
I'm gonna have sleep apnea.
All right, you said what? I don't have no sleep apnea.
I said I might.
I think got something to do with your memory.
I don't know.
I just feel like even talking to friends, they be telling me stuff like from years ago. I'm like, I kind of remember that, and I used to pride myself on having a really good memory. But I feel like it's
gone.
Yeah, getting old, y'all. Getting old. Okay, so next book that I don't remember, even as I'm sitting here trying to read the synopsis, I don't remember this book. Did I even read it? And that's Tiny Perfections by Allie Frank.
You loved that book when you read
it. I don't remember this. It's
the girl
about
she was
co-parenting.
Yeah, she was a high school, like a private school, like admissions counselor.
I don't remember this book.
And she got attracted to one of the parents.
Oh yeah,
and he was supposed to be
gay. Yeah, I do kind of remember that. Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't age well in my
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen, like, when we read it, I feel like we enjoyed it, but I feel like it just went away. And then I've seen people talk about, like, why did I read it? Like, I saw that recently where someone was like, they was unhauling it and everything.
Yeah, I do not, like, it took a lot for me to even remember what was going on in that one. But yeah, that's definitely one. And I do remember enjoying it. Now that I'm like, it's jogging my memory, I do remember being like, oh, this was a cute read. Like, don't pull the receipts, y'all, because I'm probably all in the video talking about, oh, this is so cute. I should read it. Y'all, I just be saying stuff. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So for me, boom. This one, I remember it. It just was a forgettable story. So that's why I wanted to mention it. And so that's The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. It was just one of those books. It could have been good. It could have been great. It could have been like something that shone, whatever. But it didn't. So from what I recall, the reason I remember it is because it has something to do with apothecary, and I'm just weird like that. But other than that, like, it was nothing that stood out to me. The lady, it was focused on an old lady. She was an apothecary in the early something centuries, and she had an apprentice, but the girl wasn't really her apprentice, and the woman only killed women and something like that. And then it fast forward to this woman who found a vial and was doing research to find. So yeah, I remember it. Now that I'm thinking about it, it just wasn't a memorable story. Like I said, it was missing a lot of things. It was just a story you read just to read a story, just to kind of have some remnants of like magical realism, things like that. But it just really didn't give that to you. So it's really nothing that stood out for the story. So yeah, it's just a forgettable story.
Gotcha.
But read it.
I'm not reading that.
Okay, what you got
next on my list is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart.
I had that on my list too, but I took it off because she got it.
Y'all, what was this book about?
And they got a sequel, I think, or something coming out.
Something.
E. Lockhart is coming out with another book.
I gave it 3, because it says number 1. I gave it 3 stars, so I couldn't have loved it. But I think at the time you didn't like it, yeah. I just don't even remember. I feel like it was about like a family and they were like had secrets. That's all I like know. But I don't remember like the characters. I don't remember like the main plot point.
I could say
I just don't remember, y'all.
I remember it now.
And it just doesn't take me. Even the cover, like what? It says a private island, a brilliant, damaged girl, passionate political boy. What?
These characters are
like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't remember that, and obviously I didn't like it that much, so
okay. So I'm trying to debate between a few. Okay, so because I just wrote books that I'm like, I read that. So let's just say this one. I'll say In a Dark Wood by Ruth Ware.
I kind of remember it.
What's it about?
I don't know, but I know we read it. That's what I do know.
So it was a toss-up.
Oh, the girl they had went and it wasn't like with their bridesmaids, like she was a bridesmaids and like
it was something like that.
She didn't even like
they
talk to anymore like that, but she went,
and she was marrying her old high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
It wasn't a memorable story. It was good for what it was at the time, because I think at the time, I don't know if we read it while we were like filming YouTube videos, but at the time I think we did say it was okay. And I think from there we went on to read another Ruth Ware book that someone said was a little bit better. And I do have one of her latest on hold or on save. So put that, it's on script or scribed or whatever. I think it's called It Girl or something. But pretty much we're not put off by Ruth Ware. It's just this wasn't, I think, the best or most successful book that she's had. So it just wasn't a memorable story. It was nothing that stood out about it. It's just like I literally like had to think about what happened in the book, and yeah, I'm sorry, but it was a toss-up. I'm gonna say this one because it was a toss-up, and I'm not gonna mention it as my last book. All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I haven't revisited her since we read that, and I think the gimmick about it is that the book was told backwards. Yeah, but that was it. That was the main gimmick. It wasn't, again, if it went forward, it wouldn't have been a good book. All right, but yeah. So what you got?
All right, last for me is going to be, and actually, you know, we love this author, but
you started?
Huh? You started, but I only have 4 books.
Oh, okay. I got one more.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So the last one for me is Truly Madly Guilty by Liane Moriarty. And y'all know we love Liane. And I think it's not that this book wasn't good. I just think that it was one of those, like, it was intriguing and scandalous when I read it, but then I quickly put it out of my mind. It wasn't like, oh my God, like, I don't know. I just, when I happened upon it in my, like, list, I was like, what is this about? And Chris had to, like, jog my memory, because I didn't remember. But then when she started, like, telling me, like, all the little salacious,
and the climax wasn't even that.
I'm like, Liane, you should have been ashamed of yourself writing this book, because what? Why these people was doing that at the party? Like, it was too much. It was too much, and I just think that it didn't leave, like, that big of an impression. It was one of those books that was just, like, scandalous, salacious for the sake of being salacious. It wasn't, like...
It was like, ooh, what's going to happen? And then you realize, like, girl, that was it.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of, like, why it's not super memorable for me. But, yeah.
Okay, so I got one more, I guess. I guess I forgot I read a lot of books. They start to merge together, and then some I tried. That's kind of, so this is why we're bandwagoners sometimes, because when they have good reviews, typically those are the ones is that, you know, correlation?
Sometimes.
Not always. But this one, again, trying to understand this author, get into this author, and that was The Boy from the Woods by Harlan Coben.
You don't like him.
I don't mind him. I don't know him, but that was my first experience with him. That was my first experience with him. I know he's like got 10,000 books out, like 30 years in the game. I don't know. I just know he has a lot of books.
They're making all his books into shows on Netflix too.
And that's cool. That's nice. But The Boy from the Woods, I hope that's not one of them, because and it's about to be a series. Like, why? Yeah. I don't even remember it was nothing like that stood out about the book besides the fact that you had this character that I guess you could make a series out of. That's it, because he has an interesting background. But other than that, the actual plot line and the actual plot of the story,
it wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't. So I struggle right now. I'm literally, like, all the other books, as I talked about them, like, things kind of, oh yeah, this happened. I'm literally struggling right now to remember what happened in this book. I just remember The Boy from the Woods. I remember he wasn't that interesting to me. Yeah, it just wasn't.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, sometimes, you know, you try out these popular people and it's just not for you.
Right. All right. So we probably have a whole bunch more, but that's what we'll talk about for now.
That's a fun little tag. Hopefully we didn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
The authors ain't watching this, so.
If they are, your work is great. It's just, and, you know, we just don't remember it.
We just don't remember.
Let us know some books that you may have forgotten you read, or forgotten the plot points, or they just didn't stand out for you. You don't remember them.
Stand the test of time.
Yeah, like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll be back next time.